share with you a story about survival and about friendship. My sister Jensen was born on August 26, 1995. She was a happy and healthy child, and I adored her more than words could say, probably because we were only 1 hour shy of having the same birthday. When she was 7 years old, while attending a friend's birthday party, she hurt her back jumping into a big pit of foam balls. We thought the pain would subside, and after a few days, it did seem to get better, until she fell one day on her scooter. She became increasingly less active, but never complained. Her teacher commented that she wasn't herself and that she thought she was a little pale. We had begun noticing the same thing, so a doctor appointment was scheduled. After only a few minutes and a few questions, her doctor said she was concerned about Jensen's weight loss and that she seemed so pale. After one blood test and then another to confirm the results of the first, she was sent to Children's Medical Center of Dallas. They confirmed what the doctor suspected, and she soon heard the very dreadful phrase, "You have cancer." Jensen had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. That was January 17th, 2003, a day that I will never forget. After receiving the worst phone call of my life from my dad, I thought to myself, is this really happening? She's only 7 years old. So my brothers and I knew we had to see her immediately, got our bags packed and headed to Dallas, which was the longest drive of our life. As we approached her room, we were expecting the unexpected. We opened the door to see this little helpless girl that we all loved more than words could explain. After we said our hellos, I immediately had to step out of the room so that I could release the millions of tears that I had been holding back. My question to my dad was, where do we go from here? I had never known cancer. There was absolutely no way that I could picture her not in my life forever. From that point on, the future was filled with many extended stays in the hospital, spinal taps, chemo sessions, and eventually the loss of her pretty hair. So bandanas became the norm around our house. And even with her puffy cheeks and fuzzy head, she was the cutest little sister that I had ever seen. And through all of the pain and discomfort, she always managed to keep smiling. She was definitely a fighter. Although she was 7 years old, she wrote a book in the hospital that was titled Cancer. It Isn't So Bad. I've never been more inspired, and she is more than my hero. After 3 years full of intense chemo, and thanks to the wonderful physicians and nurses at Children's that dedicate their lives to this awful disease, she was told that her cancer was in remission. What a blessing. But the story doesn't end there. As I mentioned earlier, the story is not only about survival, but about friendship. After my sister began treatment at Children's, she became aware of a summer camp in Meridian, Texas, that's called Camp Esperanza, which means hope in Spanish. At this point in her life, I don't think she had ever been away from her mother for more than a few hours, much less a whole week. But she wanted to give this camp thing a try. Little did she know that her other half would be on that bus trip to Meridian. After a week of making new friends and plenty of activities, she made it home. When the bus pulled up in Dallas, all of the little fuzzy-headed, puffy-faced, precious children got off the bus, and there came my sister and her new shadow. Needless to say, she had made a new best friend. Courtney was also Jensen's age, and she was also diagnosed with leukemia. So throughout all of the struggles and hard times that she was facing, I believe God sent her a best friend that she could communicate with on a far deeper level. They had many things in common, cancer being the first thing, from school to music, and the list goes on and on. I feel like they became each other's support system, and they were definitely two peas in a pod. They have attended camp together every summer since then. And I'm very proud to say that 9 years later, Jensen and Courtney are healthy and happy 16-year-old girls that have a friendship that will last forever. She is truly my best friend, and it's more than an honor to take this time to briefly touch on her story. This is Courtney's first relay. Courtney came from Dallas. Y'all come up here for just a second. I'm a strong believer that one day this world will be cancer-free, and no one will have to hear the awful phrase, "you have cancer." So tonight, let us continue to celebrate the many survivors, as well as all the fighters that have lost their battle, and continue to raise money so that this disease will one day have a cure. Thank you.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful story. I think what we're going to do right now, it's